Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray and we are back at it again with another monthly update for Operation Debt. But before we jump into it, I want to make sure you guys hit the like. If you've been around more than 2 times, I want you to hit that subscribe button. You're obviously rocking with what we're working with around here. Or you hate the channel. But you could hate more effectively if you were a subscriber, because I am agnostic about this. Like, I understand everybody's not going to agree with me. We're doing some stuff unconventionally here, but we're showing you month to month, week to week, day to day, how we're building out our portfolios, how we're navigating our finances. And this is not speaking from the mountaintop down. This is in the muck, going to work 9 to 5, day to day. I gotta get up just like everybody else. I go to work just like everybody else. I'm doing a little bit, where I deviate is I'm doing some different stuff with the money. But let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna go ahead and bring to the stage the sheet. Now I just recently updated this sheet. Now, technically I would have another week and there's going to be some payments that are going to hit, but those payments are actually going to land in the month of April. So I like this to be authentic. Also, this is a shorter episode. Also, it's easier for me to do my calculations for this. It's like pretty quick to go through all my debt sources and look and see what's going on to get this recorded at the end or before the end of the month. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 29th. We've got a couple more days. Those payments aren't getting pulled to get put through till Monday. They're not going to hit until April. So being transparent and being fair, I'll err on the side of me being an idiot, because I like it when you guys get to see me fail, because the other thing you get to see me do is work through it, which is important. There's no 100% right answers in finance. And I understand that your gurus that are selling you stuff are going to tell you that there aren't. Finance is called personal finance for a reason, because it's an N of one. And while any plan will work moderately well for most people, it's like dieting. It can work well for most people, but it's not going to work well for everybody, because everybody's body isn't built the same. Everyone's financial situation, where you're physically at within that reality right now, is not the same. Now, if we're all going blank slate, that's a different conversation if you can catch somebody before they've screwed anything up. But we're humans. We're all adults. We've all made some screw ups. One of the things that adults do not like to talk about is this right here on the screen. They don't like talking about debt. They don't like looking at large numbers of debt. And I don't blame you, because like, if you have debt that's just like you're catching interest payments and the interest payments are stacking on top of interest payments, I get it. It sucks. We're running through a little bit of that with the chase as we've been blocking and tackling to get some stuff moved around so that we can start shifting our income from our W-2, our lowest grade income, as far as the income hierarchy. I probably need to do a video on income hierarchies, because they exist. But we're starting to shift our W-2 income into something that moves a little bit faster, and so that we can accelerate our income to build more wealth faster. And one of the issues that you run into is, if you're in a bunch of debt, the first thing that they tell you is just eliminate all your debt. Start from scratch, eliminate all your debt. Which that actually is an option depending on scenarios. Now, for me personally, I'm not sacrificing my portfolio, because my portfolio is more often than not making more money than whatever the interest I'm paying on credit cards. So for me, pay all your debt just sounds insane. It's like, why would you? That's like saying burn your house down to put the fire out in one room, set the rest of the house on fire, and then we'll worry about the other stuff later, because of a thing called opportunity cost. A lot of people starting off in finance are not familiar with that. That's what you're giving up on the other side. So, for instance, paying off your debt. Well, you're locking in a 22% gain paying off your debt. 100% correct. Now, one of the caveats is when it comes to tax loss harvesting, because when your portfolio is down, and this was something that came into my peer view with this current downturn in the market, because I could tax loss harvest some of my portfolio. And it's something that I'm mulling around. I'm not 100% sure where I'm sitting with that or how I feel about doing that or pulling the trigger on it. But I'm like, if we're going to be in the bear market for an extended period of time, and if I had a globe and I could tell exactly how long that was going to be and figure out if I was going to be able to buy back that position, then that would be something I would be more inclined to do. Still mulling it, but we're definitely not going to be using it in any large form or fashion, like where it's like cash out everything and pay out the debt, because I would never part ways with my Bitcoin. Anything that's in my long-term holding portfolio, I would never part with, basically, for this purpose, because I can pay this back just going to work. That's not the issue. The other thing is most of this debt is asset backed. Like I said multiple times, there's probably about, I'd say, $5,000 to $8,000. That is not, well, actually, $8,000 of it is surgery from last year. So like we picked up some emergency surgery. Like I severed my Achilles, had to get surgery on that. And then also recovery, your physical therapy is expensive. And one of the things that I hate about our insurance system is, while if I would have just used what insurance would have paid for, I would still be limping. Like I'd probably be limping indefinitely. Like you're never running again. So I had to pay for it out of pocket, because I'm not going to be running around 40 years old limping indefinitely because of an injury that I sustained because I work too much. Not a possibility. So we paid out of pocket for a good grip of our physical therapy. So that was also an added expense that was a couple of $1,000s on top of the surgery, on top of the all getting everybody paid up for that. So one of the things that I did not want to do was tank my income portfolio, because the whole reason we built this up was because of that injury. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to keep my position. I thought they were going to buy me out, to be honest. It was cheaper to keep her scenario. I was like a terrible ex-wife who you just decided not to make your ex-wife because it's cheaper to keep her around. So they didn't want to pay me to leave. So, and I went back to work faster than what everybody said I should. Like, I don't like sitting around. I found that out. So I had a good month and a half of sitting on the couch, and I didn't like it. I don't like sitting around. It's not for me. So I know that I will not be fully retiring. Like I'm going to go find something I want to do, a hobby that I'll get super into or something, or I'll figure out a way to get paid to do something else, because obviously this ain't it. But I didn't want, so I built this portfolio because I needed to be able to continue to pay my mortgage. Like you can't, like, while I do house hack, I don't like relying on that income. So what we did was we built this portfolio out. So I'm like, okay, well, like I don't want to mess up the income that's coming in, but I also don't want to put myself in a position to where this debt is just building up and consistently going the wrong way. Now, for the past couple of months, it's been floating. I said we were going to be kind of in a range of around $31,000. And we've so far have been in that range. So kudos for that. That's been good. With the market down, though, and me mulling over these options, I've been shuffling some debt around, which is I'm moving debt that's already existing where we're paying interest on it into 0% interest positions. And the reason we're doing this is because while we're in this little dip, this little mini bear market, if you would, strategically, what I am looking to do is move a good portion and start transitioning my W-2 check into the income portfolio, because that's the next stage for me for where I'm trying to go financially. The reason being is that accelerates that income. So I'm taking my W-2 income, buying income producing asset that then pays me monthly, weekly, whatever. And we're using the dividend to pay back this debt first and foremost, but also do some reinvestment and like kicking off a little bit to the side into our long-term holding portfolio, and, buying Bitcoin, also doing that. So we're not just unloading all the gunpowder into the debt, but we're doing it to pay it faster. So I think the first transition, like the testing grounds for that, we're going to move 30% of our check, and that's what we're going to do. But let's get through the breakdown of this debt, and then I'll talk about specifically how I'm planning to start that transition. So the medical debt, we are sitting at $1,407.70. We've got our Capital One Quicksilver, which is our current daily driver. We have $241 outstanding, and then which I front all the utilities for my roommates via the house hack. So I actually have less than that because I've got $212 that's going on to pay that down come Monday or Tuesday, whenever the money gets transferred over from PayPal. So that's going to be sitting at zero now. Our Capital One venture, we haven't put anything else on that. That's at zero now. This will be at zero. This is our daily. So our goal here is we pay this off every month, and then we try not to rack up hundreds of dollars in excess stuff. It's basically cutting to the quick. It's groceries, stuff that I need. I will go out probably once, twice a weekend. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna go be in my social groups and see my friends. I'm not an advocate of that either. I'm not a person who's like, yo, like cut everything. But what I will do is I'll make sure that I've either got low cost food options that are healthy enough to give me enough protein to, like, keep the body in shape. And I'm not going to eat at any point by myself. So like I'm trying not to eat during the week. I have my cash budget that is going towards, like, if I do want to grab like an extra something or other for my lunches, like if I want to go get something, the torta ladies around, I need to have some cash for that. That's also an option, but overall, I've been cutting back. I've been just making sure I get enough lunch, and I've been, tweaking how we're doing our food budget by, unfortunately, Walmart is not the play. Like if you're gonna eat healthy and you're gonna go to Walmart, like all the healthy stuff, like you will destroy your budget going to Walmart at this juncture. It is expensive to shop there. Now Aldi, 60% less, and the food has less poison in it. So that's a no-brainer for me. Also, it's closer to my house. We're saving on gas. So every 2 weeks, I will have a couple of items that are specifically that I can't get at Aldi that I get from Walmart. And I will probably buy those in 2-week increments to just have. And those will be the things that I get from Walmart when I'm out there, because I go out that way. There's one of my banks that I like to go, because I like to have, like, I pull $20 in cash out that I use for just, petty cash to have every week. And that the bank that I go to is out there. So that's one of the things I'm like, cool, I can get some of this stuff so I can have some of these things that I was getting from Walmart. And honestly, that stuff's on the less expensive side. So it's everything else that was nickel and diming me. But we're being more cost conscious. We're paying more attention to what we're spending, how we're spending. We're trying to trim that back as much as possible, because the goal is to transition over into that income portfolio, so that way I can start actually living out of it. So moving on, we got the Citibank, which is getting ready to be in the pair view, because I'm pretty sure we're getting close to about ready to be at a point to where that's going to be problematic. And I've got a couple of strategies for how we're going to start shifting these moving forward, but that's going to be on the list. Our Discover, we paid that off. We might be getting ready to redeploy this line. They've got another 0% deal that they sent me, and it's for 9 months, and we might be moving some future debt into that position at 0% for 9 months, because that'll cover me until for 9 months from whenever I do it, which shouldn't be too bad. We got the Chase Slate, which is currently sitting at $3,989.71. This one's probably going to be one of the next ones that I get rid of, because the Chase Slate specifically, I could pull this over to that. I could pull that Citibank over if I needed to. I don't know what type of, because like the Chase Slate card is basically a balance transfer card, so they always do deals on balance transfers on that card. But this one comes up in December, so this is probably going to be the next focal point for me to pay down really quick, because it's just under $4,000. I should be able to just attack it relatively quickly, get that knocked out. Next we've got, just click on that thing. Next we've got the Chase Sapphire, which was my old daily driver. This was the one that ended up with all the emergency bills on it. So that is sitting currently at $6,744.49. This one we are looking at potentially redeploying for the 9-month leeway on this balance and moving it over to the Discover. I also have another card that came in, but I don't want to open up another line of credit, but I got a really good balance deal that they're trying to get me with. And as I start machine gunning this down, I should have some extra leeway on that. We'll see how it works out. But last but not least, we've got our Bank of America, which is another $9,000 card. It's $9,367.17, which is at 0% until July of 2026. That one is kind of on the back burner. Now, what I'm doing when I say back burner is normally when it comes around to the minimum balance on these, most people say pay the minimum and then just shovel everything into the main card that you're paying off. I also follow that methodology, with the exception of I pay double the minimum when these minimums roll up. So like if any of these cards are due, whenever they're due within that window, it's like, okay, so the minimum is X. Okay, so we're going to pay 2X. We're going to pay that minimum twice, basically, and kind of double it up. It just like helps me while I'm managing it, especially since it's sitting at 0%. You're managing it, and then you're also eating into it a little bit, and then everything else, because all these cards don't have the same pay date. So it's like strewn throughout the month. So you might have one, might have two on a paycheck. Very seldomly do you have more than two, and they're spaced out. So that way, as these roll through, you're chunking at them, but then like your focus is whatever card you're actually focused on for. And actually, mine are focused until they're paid off. So like once we move over to knocking out this Chase Slate, which is going to be the next up, it's like, okay, so when the check rolls in, we try to keep our balance low on the daily driver card, only putting the bare minimum of what we need on there. And then everything else goes into paying off the Chase Slate. When the dividend rolls around, specifically that big, juicy, misty dividend, we're taking a chunk out of it. And then after it's paid off, we shift to the next card in line. So right now we had Discover card at number 1. We had the Chase Slate at number 2. And then we had Citibank at number 3. So honestly, what we need to do right here, so we always keep our 3 priorities together. The Discover card is going to become number 3. Citibank is now number 2. And then we've got this Chase Slate will be number 1 as far as paying off the debt, which means that anything extra that comes in goes after that card. So that's going to be the next card that we've got paid down. We had a little bump. We went a little bit in the wrong direction this month. It's at 31. We're at total $31,436.34. We also really went in on our investments because we were really down bad at the beginning of the month. We're dipping again, not necessarily as bad as it was at the beginning of the month, but we focused a lot of money on getting into some positions to make some more money. So it is what it is. I will always indefinitely, as long as I am capable of managing, go into debt with the reserve of I have assets to pay that off. Now, as far as tax loss harvesting to kind of trim some of this down, that's a possibility. I don't know that it's something that I would want to do though. Like it wouldn't make me feel great, even though it would take the burden and, you could lock in that 23%. You can lock it in. I, in my heart of hearts and everything that I know about the Bitcoin bull run and having been through it now going on 4 times, I would not want to I wouldn't take the 23% right now. It's just the honest answer. I don't want the 23% right now. Like, if I can move that out of the way and block and tackle it and put it in a 0% and pay 5% on it, I'd rather do that. Another option though that I have kicked around is just pulling these in one at a time into the income portfolio, which means deploying margin into cash, using the cash to pay the credit card off, and then letting the dividends pay back that debt. That is something that I have considered, and we might experiment with it on the last card, especially if I've got like my paycheck transitioning, because then you're actually paying at it as well. It's something that I've been thinking about. I haven't really weighed the risk reward on that. Like, I kind of would want to wait until I'm making at least $100 a week outside of Misty, to where it's constantly getting chunked at. And thinking about it now, it would have to be $200 a week for me to be comfortable with that. Like, I would have to be able to go, hey, because if the market goes down and you're not in the ballpark of $200, then now you're running even at 50%, because nothing individually is over 50% of my margin. But I wouldn't want to risk getting liquidated on a debt that's outside. Like, it just, that wouldn't, I don't know that I'd be comfortable with that. So we're going to have to get the portfolio weighed up. We got to get our weeklies in, which means we're going to have to get our weekly paying position really dialed in. And because I would need 200 a week at least on the off weeks from Misty. I want 200 a week rolling in. So looks like we got ourselves some targets. We got ourselves some stuff. We got some updates. Obviously, we're still in debt, but we are closing some stuff out. And as we're closing it out, you're getting to see that, like, hey, we're redeploying and, bringing it back in and going, hey, let's get this. So this last chunk of debt that we have that's not at 0%, we are sitting here with it, and we're going, hey, let's put that in a 0% position as well and start really machine gunning down these 0% positions. Because that's the goal. That's the way this kind of focuses in. But as we can see, even though we went up a little bit, our focus debt is really down. So like, we're down to $7,000 in focus debt, and then we're getting a part of this moved out of the focus debt and into a position to where we can take our time and reprioritize it to the back of the line for a little bit and pay down some of these other accounts. So that's what we're looking at as far as this episode of Operation Debt Crusher, the March update. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely tap in with me. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Am I absolutely insane? Are you seeing the plan? Are you gonna? Well, the real question is, will you see the plan come together if it works? Because I know that there's going to be that camp of people that are just like, all debt's bad. You shouldn't have it, period. This is insane. Why would you willingly do that? And willingly do that mean carry the debt, manage it, and not liquidate all assets, pay off the debt, as soon as possible, because within my portfolio, within my crypto portfolio and my traditional finance portfolios, I could do that. I just don't want to. And the reason being is because of opportunity cost for me. So there's going to be some people that are going to be against this no matter what. But like the question is, once you see it start working, would your opinion change? And like that's what I'm hoping to show here, is that there's multiple ways to go about personal finance. That's why it's called personal. Anyways, this has been another great episode. Hope you guys are tapped in. Hope you've hit that subscribe. Hope you hit the like. And I hope you share this with somebody who maybe is trying to figure out some different ways to navigate through these financial pools. And like, we've got a few different things that we're doing different than the average Joe while living as the average Joe does. Till next month, people, this has been another episode of Debt Crusher. It's your boy Reckless Ray and Arrow, and we are out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.